Hello everyone and welcome back to the 25 Cards of Christmas! Jingle belling our way through the holiday season with Magic the Gathering. With less than a week away from the big day, let's grab another gift and discover today's topic. Godsend, our first artifact of the season. This was once a gift for the White Planeswalker Elspeth, but I guess she doesn't need it anymore. She accomplished a lot of things with this weapon, but how did it eventually get the better of her? Let's find out! Godsend, one of the most iconic weapons in all of MTG. For years, this was the sword spear carried by everyone's favorite knight, the White Planeswalker and quintessential lost soul, Elspeth. Like a lost soul, Elspeth was never able to find a stable home for herself. Even with the power to traverse the multiverse, she always seemed to find trouble rather than peace. As a young Planeswalker, Elspeth traveled to this enchanting world, a world of gods called Theros. When she first arrived, she was still new to the whole planeswalking thing. She was easily frightened by what she perceived as different, something she got in abundance on Theros. As she peeled through the Veil of Worlds, she was greeted by an epic confrontation. Large beings fought one another, but these weren't giants. They were something more. Their battleground was the sky itself. Elspeth was witnessing a fight between the gods of Theros. They clashed with thunder and lightning, fire and smoke, steel and sunlight. It was a scene beyond understanding for most mortals, but Elspeth was a planeswalker, a god among men herself. This godly bout was between Theros, god of the Forge, and Heliod, the sun god. Elspeth was blissfully unaware of the reason behind this fight, but as the stories go, Theros tried to stand up in opposition to Heliod's supremacy in Theros' pantheon. The god of forging and metalworks crafted a special blade which could destroy the fabric of Nyx, the substance making up the realm of the gods and the gods themselves. The gods were always known to be immortal, but with this blade, known as the Sword of Chaos, that belief ended. Heliod, god over all which could be seen on Theros, was the strongest and most praised god of the pantheon. As god of gods, any who dared challenge his position was brutally reminded of his power, sparing not even his fellow gods. With the creation of the Sword of Chaos, Theros challenged Heliod and the position of every other god on Theros. As the two titans duked it out in the stars, Elspeth arrived just observing its conclusion. With a mighty jolt of light, the ringing of shattered steel could be heard echoing. The Sword of Chaos was struck from the forging god's hands and sent tumbling to the mortal realm. The young Elspeth watched as the heavenly weapon landed just feet away from her. With just her instincts to guide her, she lifted the sword and planeswalked away from Theros, causing the weapon to be lost to the world for years. Elspeth would use this blade on her travels for another 10 years, until her battle-hardened life called her back to the relatively simpler world of Theros. The knight was tired of her life of struggle and lost lives. She longed for a world which could provide her with stability. Theros, she believed, could be that world. With the gods on the plane laying down strict rules and guidelines, Theros may be the only structured place she had ever visited. Upon returning to Theros, the people of the world immediately recognized the weapon she carried, knowing it was that of the gods. It didn't take long for this news to reach the big man, Heliod himself, who saw the sword's return as a terrible omen. He found Elspeth carrying the blade, and although he wasn't happy with its return, he was pleased with the one who wielded it. Heliod had been searching for a new representative, the re-emergence of his sun champion. He believed Elspeth was this worthy warrior. The god confronted Elspeth and set her to a challenge, to see if she was truly worthy of the sun god's title. During the godly conflict 10 years ago, the Sword of Chaos wasn't the only Nyxian thing set loose upon the world of immortals. The sword also damaged the prison of a massive hydra, called Polokranos, the World Eater, setting him free on Theros. As her first duty, Elspeth must find and defeat this hydra. Heliod didn't give the Planeswalker her due credit. although he wasn't really sure what that meant. Elspeth tracked the godly beast and easily chopped off its heads, granting her much praise from the people and the gods. Heliod anointed her as his new champion, the Sun Warrior. It was one of the happiest days in Elspeth's life. Along with this new title, Elspeth's weapon was also reforged. Now taking its iconic sword spear shape, it was given to her by Heliod himself, who dubbed it Godsend, setting in motion events which would change all of Theros. Throughout the events of the block, Elspeth inadvertently allowed the Satyr planeswalker Xenagos to ascend to godhood, the biggest insult the Pantheon had ever received. Heliod, who believed the gods were static and unchanging, saw this ascension as a slap in the face of the gods, and charged his champion with correcting it. Heliod wrongfully placed the blame of the situation solely on Elspeth's shoulders, a guilt she carried with her as she went about this task. With Godsend in hand, she faced her otherworldly foe, the now godly Xenagos. The weapon's unique properties allowed her to mortally wound the satyr, causing him to lose his already unstable godly status. As he crashed back into the world of the mortals, his body was lost, with no one knowing his true fate. Yet, the job was done. The Pantheon returned to its original state. The Sun's God champion had prevailed. But it wasn't enough. By this point, Heliod had grown quite tired of these planeswalkers, who he believed to be great threats to his power. Xenagos and Elspeth had both seen worlds that not even the gods could perceive. She was insulting him with her very existence. Heliod would punish Elspeth for what she was, rewarding her for her triumph by stabbing her in the chest with her own weapon. As Godsend drained the life from Elspeth, she fell into the realm of the dead, the underworld of Theros. Afterwards, Heliod destroyed Godsend so no other mortal could ever challenge his power again. In the underworld of Erebos, each soul is granted a death mask. Elspeth was made from the gems which were once part of her trusted weapon. And this is where Elspeth and the remainder of Godsend reside, lost in the Sea of the Dead. On Theros, none truly die, especially heroes. One day, we may see Elspeth return with her weapon, but for now, all we can do is remember. They say a weapon can be an extension of the warrior's life. I guess in Elspeth's case this is true. Godsend, or God's End if you will, served this brave knight well, but those who live by the sword perish by the sword. Go ahead, adorn my tree until Elspeth reclaims you once again. Well, thanks for joining me on this latest card of Christmas. I just wanted to take this time to say thanks for watching and supporting the channel. Stay tuned tomorrow as we continue this holiday countdown with another special card. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, Simon here, just letting you know if you liked the video, you can support future content by liking it and sharing it with your friends. You can also support this channel by visiting my sponsors over at abugames.com. abugames.com is a leading online store for all things MTG, and without them, this series wouldn't be possible. You may even consider following me on social media or becoming a patron on Patreon. Through those means, you can stay up to date with the channel along with gaining access to special events and giveaways. You can find those links in the description below. Regardless, I wish you all a happy and safe holiday season.